Seager is a First Amendment lawyer, and she often writes about the First Amendment, including libel law. So recently she wrote an article that I love. It's called "Donald J. Trump is a libel bully, but also a libel loser." Gee, I wonder why I like that article. Okay, so she explains in that article how many times Donald Trump sues people for libel and how he never wins. In fact, let me quote her. She says, Trump had filed 7 speech-related lawsuits over the past 30 years and failed to win any of those lawsuits filed in public court. Now, it was important for her to explain the context here and important to have that title, because what she wanted to point out was he never wins, not to just call him a loser, as I would do, but to explain that he does not have a good case. He knows he doesn't have a good case. He knows that he keeps losing over and over again, because that's not his point. His point is to intimidate people. So now, ironically, she gives this to the American Bar Association, where she's published many times, and they're intimidated and won't publish it. Oh, for Christ's sake. So you didn't understand any of what she was saying. So she explains, I reported Trump's frivolous libel lawsuits hurt news organizations and others by forcing them to pay stiff legal fees to get rid of his bogus claims. I said we need more laws to protect people from these frivolous but costly speech-related lawsuits. Now, she makes a great point. She says, who knows how many reporters, critics, and most recently, alleged groping victims decided to self-censor for fear of being sued by Trump. So again, understand, it's not like Donald Trump doesn't know what kind of a loser he is. He's never won any of these cases. By the way, all of you out there with the whole, Donald Trump's a winner. Then how come he never wins? He's got a curious way of being a winner. But he does it in this case to intimidate people. I have more money than you, kind of. Okay, and I will use that to make sure that you don't mess around with my brand, because that's the only way that I make money. So even though I know I'm wrong, because I didn't win any of the previous cases on the same issues, I'm going to do it anyway to intimidate you. Now, to getting to the irony here of trying to print this at the ABA, she got the article printed in another publication anyway, but she says James Demos, Deputy Executive Director of the ABA, said in an October 19th email to Lee that the ABA was concerned about being sued by Trump and uncomfortable with the tone and partisan nature of my article. The ABA would run my article, but only if keywords about Trump were censored. No, but you see, her article wasn't partisan. She was pointing out his track record in these lawsuits. And it was important and central to the article that you understand what a loser Donald Trump is, because it is central to his strategy here on intimidating people, even though he knows he's a loser and has lost all these cases. So when you censor that, you're the one that is being biased. You're the one that is making a political decision and, super ironically, being intimidated by Donald Trump, exactly as she explains in the article. In fact, she says, to use one of Trump's favorite phrases, it's sad that the ABA censored my article. The ABA proved my point that Trump chilled speech by using baseless lawsuits and empty threats. And so, yes, this is a Loser Donald segment, and yes, Donald Trump is a loser for losing every single case involved with libel, as he currently, today, threatens libel lawsuits against his accusers, against the press. Don't worry about it. He's not going to win them. He never does. But in this one case, there's an even bigger loser, and it's the American Bar Association for getting intimidated by a guy like Donald Trump. You guys ought to know better. You're lawyers. Even if he sued you, there's no way in the world he'd win. He never wins.